Alright guys, you have no idea how much this has cost me. And there was probably a better way. Of course there's a better way. There's always a better way. Ends up being at Advance Auto, I found it was basically a 5/16 line, and it had this 14mm O-ring style right there. Because I can't use this, I don't know if I said it in my other video. This hose here, this O-ring on each side. The old style injector pump doesn't have it. It's this typical flare. I thought it was 5/16 flare because all of them are like that, but not the V6. That is a 1/4 inch here, and usually it's 5/16 here, but it's 1/4 inch on both sides. So I kept buying the wrong shit because my eyes don't see anymore. So I bought these things. All this shit cost a fortune. These hydraulic places, they only have the AN fittings. And so then I got the straight one, it wouldn't fit. So I got this angle one, it should go underneath this guy. I did have it screwed on before. But then I said, okay, I'm gonna do something, because they didn't have a cheap solution. So I was gonna use this. So I bent it all up, and I would use like 1 inch of rubber hose for this. And in the end, this says it's the 3/8 line, but it's not really 3/8 line. I just realized, I'm like, oh, fuck. It says 9/16 thread, when this union is 5/8 thread. So I got one of these guys, so I was thinking I was going to screw that onto there, put that onto there, and have 3/8 to 3/8 right here. And this doesn't screw in. What a fucking nightmare. So what I'm doing now, I found something in my toolbox. This is something I extended an air hose with, and it's 3/8 on that side and 5/16 on this side, and I forced on a 1/4 inch hose. I'm going to just cut a piece of line. I'm not going to cut this because I can use it for brakes, but that's just like really meant for like a master cylinder. So I'm gonna go like that and just have a small piece of 1/4 inch, just screw it onto the line. What a nightmare trying to make this work. But Advance Auto had something, but still, no matter what, they don't have anything. I wish they had something that was 1/4 inch that would come off as a 1/4 inch nipple, and you can't find that. But even then, I have to go 1/4 inch to 5/16, which they have. And then I can run a 5/16 line, but I have to be a 5/16 line and then put a hose clamp on it, or I can get the nipple for that. Then I can technically use this, you know. But then this is 5/16 line, I can use 5/16. So that would actually work. I might actually change it up and do it that way. But because now that I'm thinking about it, this is kind of a rig job. But it's driving me nuts. I'm like, I can't believe I have no luck. Oh, but if I go 5/16, then I have to get the one at Advance Auto after I just bought all this shit. Yeah, so I'm trying to use 3/8 because that's all they had is 45. They had the straight 5/16, but to go 45, they can only have 3/8. So I was trying to find a way to put 3/8. It's a mess. Unreal. So I cut a piece off a $10 line. I can't win. I don't know how I'm going to fucking bend that. I should have bent it first, I guess. What a mess. What a disaster. This is so bad. I can't believe that they did this, that they changed it like that. Oh, this is just, it's chaos. I think I might just actually now cut this instead. Now I'm going to have two things cut, but oh well, what am I going to do? I'm burning daylight, so I basically just did it. I know it's push lock, but it's a regular hose, so I put a clamp on it. And I got this guy, and I just bent that down. And I had this on that old this harness from the old one, because it looks like you have to put it on this way. I have no idea what that ground goes to, or if it is, you know, I gather it's a ground. But it's funny how the original harness in here fit, because basically it's like an HEI wire. It fits in this thing on the top one that has the power lead. So I'm hoping they kind of like did that for you. Not quite sure if it's gonna work, but I was cranking it and I'm like, oh yeah, I forgot to put on the wire. But I think the battery's gonna die soon. I really got to change the battery, but let's see what happens. I just got it started 10 seconds ago. No real high idle to speak of. I guess it's a little high. It bled pretty quick. I'm sure it's bleeding the air out that's in the system. It's amazing how I cranked it a bit. Because all this has got to work its way out. right there. I really hope that these injectors are not releasing at a different pressure, because these are 85 injectors. I would like it to run better by now. I hope it's something to do with that it's cold, because I'm not sure these vacuum things are working right now, or I don't know if I even have the main vacuum hooked up. I gather I do. Trying to bit to compensate, probably because that's what all the other electronics on the 85 does. It compensates when it's cold, or when there's a change in idle even. I hope this wasn't a mistake. Ends up being I got canceled. I'm not even going to use the car on Tuesday, so it was all for naught. What else is new? I really don't care for the stumbling. Bit of smoke. This thing ran perfect before. It really did. It might just take a while to warm up now without that other stuff. Unless this is just that way the 82 to 84 used to run. Shitty. Yeah, I'm ultimately not happy. I'm not happy with rigging things and everything, you know, so I guess I gotta get that, you know, the other injector pump rebuilt. I don't want to spend the money. Good thing is I can reuse those gaskets on the Plenum, because they are unavailable. None of this shit's available. I just happen to know somebody who has a lot of them. But not quite happy. And it's like, if I want to sell this injector pump, somebody's got to take my word for it. It's rebuilt. I mean, it was in a nice package and it was rebuilt, but I'm sure with this other shit hooked up, I think that's part of the problem. Like this one, I hooked it up, but I don't even know where to put it. So it might control some kind of idle. This thing here, the sensor on the side, it's different than mine. This one has a plug. Not that it went to that. Oh, sorry, not that it went to that one. This plug, but maybe it ends up routing to it because it boosts the idle up. Because I don't think it's really doing that right now. So, kind of a bummer, I must say. Not too happy. So, all that work, and it's still running choppy, but oh well. I should use this with my car, but I gotta put it together and see if I can drive it. But I bet the injectors are at a different pressure, And so if it's too strong of a pump, it's going to like dump fuel, which is why it's kind of smoking. Maybe fine on the highway if you don't go too hard. That's part throttle. I guess it's improving quite a bit now as it warms up. Probably helps to have all the blow-by stuff put, you know, held together, EGR. I just got it hanging here. Not that I put the vacuum line on. Still sounds funny, and I bet you have to change the injectors. The thing is, the guy that I bought injectors from, he said that 84 and 85 are the same. I really wonder if he knows what the hell he's talking about, but I gotta double check the dealer part numbers to see if they're different. They may not be. You know, the injectors might have stayed the same, like all the pressures are the same. The only thing that changed was the delivery system. What do you call it? The V8s definitely had different injectors and a different injector pump. Yeah, it just got a little better right there. It's a little spitty. This thing would just sound like air coming out. It was like, you know? Sounds a bit more throaty. I'm curious if it has more balls, because I know it's only 85 horsepower, but it wasn't. I didn't think the ball. I thought that this car had better balls, you know, than this one. I bought a useless injector pump. It's too much. This is too nice of a car to like not have it right. But I did mean for it to be temporary, but it would be really cool if it ran like perfect, and it does not. I really feel it's something to do with the injectors, but I'm going to double check the part numbers to see what the deal is. Change my battery. You know, you know, when you get these new hoses made, at least this car came with the hoses, that one didn't. These kind of swivel, or they swivel now, because I had to swivel this up, and I basically rotated this, because you can't get this out. I had to unbolt this, and then swivel it out, and I had no Freon in here before, you know, so it was no big deal. Now that I fixed the AC on it, I don't feel, you know, like I started hearing a little bit of Freon come out at certain angles, so not the best thing for it, but it would be good if there was a better solution of some sort. So, like if this was 90 degrees. If this was 90 degrees, I went here and they got one of those U pieces and made your hose that way. Shouldn't be over the battery. It's kind of stupid. Pain in the ass to undo that. I think my bolt stripped and I put these drill tip screws in when I originally did it. I guess it's sounding better. I still think the injectors might be off, but it may have just needed to be warmed up more. You literally saw it 10 seconds after I got it running. That's better. Yeah, it's not bogging down when I rev it up between the air, but it's not perfect. It's sputtering a little bit. Like I said, this ran perfect before, but I think it's the injectors. Oh well, I'm gonna pack it in. So, driving the diesel, I actually got it all back together tonight. I said, fuck it, it wasn't that much more work. So, it's actually driving pretty well. I just don't know how it's gonna be on a really cold day. A lot of these cars do not want to drive very well when it's cold, but taking it on a good run now. Floor it, downshift, let go of the gas. It's running really. I mean, it ran good before. It just that it was leaking, and you know. But I noticed the idle quality is really not like what the other one is. The other one I think is much more metered, and it stands to prove, you know, with these, you know, more luxury four-wheel drive cars, you want it to run pretty consistently, and it runs very well. It's just that at idle, I don't know how much traffic I got here, not much, but like I'm just sitting at a light here. I don't know if you can hear any of this. Like there's a little bit more vibration. I feel a little hiccup. Not yet. I felt a couple hiccups, but you know, I guess there's a point where the injector pump has to break in as well, you know. But slightly more vibration at idle, you know. But it's running good. Ultimately, it runs good, you know. I guess I'm speeding. The speedometer started making noise now. You hear it ticking away. Anywho, it's electronic too, so it's got to be something physically in the freaking dash. That's wonderful. Alright, now we turn. I got a brake issue that I got to take care of this car too, but I had to get it running for sure. I adjusted the kickdown cable a little bit on the tighter side, so it may hold the gear a little bit longer than it did. That's fine. Don't mind the squeaking from the brakes. And I gotta do I'm gonna do axles, axle seals, hub bearings, rotors, brakes, and calipers, and put these adapters on. Somebody put new brake lines in the front, and it's a 10mm thread, but it's supposed to be a bubble flare, and they put a regular flare. And I've seen it all the time when I worked on cars for the last 30 years. That people just shove it in. It's the same thread. They shove it in and make it tight, and it stops. It doesn't leak, but it doesn't make it right. So I'm going to put these adapters that will utilize the brake lines that are there, so I don't have to change them again. Because I did the master cylinder. I put all the proper. I think I flared it all because that didn't have the right thing as well. I gather they did it at the same time. I just didn't know because I didn't get into the wheels yet. But she's running pretty good. Squeaky brakes, that's about it. And they changed the battery. A lot of good things happened, I guess. And it runs. So maybe back to the messy garage.